Remember this pump? The solar panel likes this one a lot better.
I'm supposed to talk.
Oh. I've never put on a back park like that.
Still a hint of summer smell in the air. Just a little bit. Right here.
Oh my goodness, my gosh. Don't let that go yet.
Nice after the smell of the smoke.
Oh. Do you know where your water comes from? We know where ours comes from. Heaven. So, to those of you who are new here, this is our water license, where we get our water from. And as you can see, it's just a little spring coming out of the ground. There's actually multiple little springs coming out of the ground. But, yeah, that's one of them.
So our water woes continue. In our last video, we hooked up a new pump that's supposed to pump more water, but one of two things is happening, we suspect. The pump uses too much power and the solar panel is not producing enough to run the pump. Or the panel is not in a good spot, and I guess those things are linked. But yeah, the water has not been pumping, and we're gonna put the smaller pump back on because it still works, and we know that this solar panel, if it's getting full sun, will pump with it. So this is the view of the solar panel. That's not good. So we're just not getting enough sun to pump enough water. So we're thinking about moving the panel up there. Up to the top of the hill. There's a bit of a clearing there. So we're gonna go scout it out and see how it looks.
So as you can see, that's a little baby bear that's been down here playing around with our stuff. Baby bears tend to be buggers. Baby bear buggers.
Well, they all are.
All bears are buggers, but baby bears are definitely big time buggers.
Oh, we should have brought a lid for that. Keep the leaves out. They're gonna start falling.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that.
Now she's rocking and rolling. So now we've got the pump going with the solar panel in this spot. We're just gonna go hike around and see if we can find a better spot for the panel up at the top of the hill. And hopefully we can get a bit more sunlight. Up the bear trail.
The bear trail, that's exactly what this is. I've got a bear spray.
With the machete.
No, I don't want to machete a baby bear. Or a mama. It's just a simple little hike, Katie, that's all.
Where these old broken old branches don't give out.
Don't stand on the verge. I didn't. I can't trust maple, what do you mean?
those little ones.
Yeah, they're maple. Okay, look at that.
Look at that, that's the way we gotta hike.
This is my kind of hiking.
All right, now we are going to run the cable up to the spot. We're gonna leave the pump running until we have everything lined up. Then we're gonna move the panel up to the new spot and continue to pump. We are finding that the intake is not quite enough. It's actually draining this. So we're not getting enough flow into the container for what the pump is pumping out. So it's totally fixable. We just need to put a bigger water line from the intake box so that it fills faster. Super easy. But Greg's already heading up, so let's go. Yep.
What's up, sweetie?
Wow. Could not film that part of us going through the thick branches, but I was basically standing on one foot. I had the other foot holding some branches down. I had one arm holding branches up and had the other arm holding branches down. Just trying to make sure Greg wasn't caught on anything. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good spot here.
Got the panel up on the hill plugged in. Pump is running. It's not quite as loud as it was before, but I think even if we're pumping a lesser amount of water for longer, we're still going to end up with more than we would have.
It's actually beneficial because it was pumping too much, and now with a little bit of line loss, it's like pulling perfect capacity. Like the same amount going in, it's the same amount going out.
So we're gonna monitor it throughout the day and see how it's holding up, I guess. Fingers crossed this is it for the water projects, for a little while at least. Down there somewhere. How do I get down? Woo! Ah!
Yeah. Feeling like a villain. Yesterday, 2 days ago actually, Katie and I sat down, and after having a little bit of a freak out for like, what should we do to work on the house? We sat down and we made a list. That list was what needs to be done before winter. So we wrote down all the stuff, and then we put stars next to the absolute most important things, and everything was absolutely most important, and we had stars all over the place. So we're having a little bit of a freak out because we have to do so much before the snow hits if we're going to be living in the house without relying on the bus. Which we can't be relying on the bus, because if we use the bus, we need to keep the bus warm. And if we keep the bus warm, we're wasting wood, and it's a lot of work. So I gotta get the skirting done on this house. And there have been so many comments saying, what are you guys gonna do for the siding? Well, siding really doesn't matter right now. Take a look at this. This Roxol is totally fine. It hasn't degraded at all. It's hydrophobic. It's inorganic. There's no mold, no rot, nothing wrong with it. Like, I will be getting the siding on hopefully this year, but I think it's going to be a winter project because siding doesn't really matter right now. What matters is a functioning kitchen, is totally functionable plumbing. It is water, having water come into the house. We don't have that yet. I'm gonna have to decide whether or not we're going to move the cistern or just tie into it for this year, which I'm pretty sure we're just gonna tie into it for this year, because we gotta move the bus and we gotta re-landscape a bunch of stuff, and we gotta make a big decision. Where do we keep our water tank for the home? Gray water pit needs to be done. There's a lot that needs to be done, but very, 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 very important is the skirting. So, had a long day at work. I'm a little bit tired, but it's not blazing hot anymore. So I have some energy to get on some skirting. So Juniper and I are gonna do some skirting together. Isn't that right, Juniper? Eh? So I'm gonna use this beautiful fir 2x4 to build a frame for the skirting, and then the plan is install the frame on here, but I'm going to put rock down first. I've got some crushed gravel that I'm going to put underneath it first, so if there is any water, it can drain away from the boards. And then I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I have a huge pile of rubber roofing, EPDM, sitting by my tractor here. It's from a job that I did last year, and you can't throw that kind of stuff away, because that's a roof on a doghouse, that's a roof on a garden shed. That stuff's awesome. It doesn't really degrade. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to connect it to our house and build and like make it so that water can't infiltrate underneath the house. There's a few steps to that process, and I'm not going to get into it in detail right now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the frame built for the skirt. Beautiful, hard Douglas fir. Lift up, tilt more, a little more, Perfect.
All right, we've got all the framing laid out. We've cut out all of the studs, each to size based on the slant of the ground, I guess you could say. And now we're going to put it together. And we're gonna stop this dog from getting the strap. Juniper, no. Chew on this. Here. Oh, look, that's way better. This is way more fun. Yeah, that's way more fun. You want this? Oh, you want this? Go get it. Go get it. Go get it. Ning, ning, ning. Oh! Oh, there you are! All right, we've got the first wall of the skirting up. Kind of have an idea of what we're going to be doing for this. We're probably just going to be chipping away at it because it feels like such a huge, daunting project, and there's just so much to do that if we can take an evening and do a side or a section of the house, we'll eventually get through it. So yeah, that's where we're at. We are going to call it a night.